नीचे सीसीटीवी में सब क्लियर दिखता है सारा। नहीं नहीं वैसे बता रहे हैं। हाँ
Good morning, all of you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
I welcome you all again in the session, in the second day session of TGT English program. Today, we have with us Miss Sunita and Miss Priyanka. They will be dealing for the today's session for the first period, and they will be talking about on e-learning resources and the teaching techniques. They will talk about various e-learning resources that are available in the market and that can be used by teachers for online learning. I welcome both of them, and again I am requesting you नंबर से जो है हमारे पास आ रहा है लॉगिन, प्लीज आप अपना नाम चेंज कर लीजिए, अदरवाइज वी वॉन्ट बी एबल टू गिव यू अटेंडेंस। ये नंबर जो है अभी हमने उसको एक्सपेल कर दिया था कि वो दोबारा आएंगे तो अपने शायद नाम के साथ आए, लेकिन वो अपने नाम के साथ स्टिल नहीं आए हैं, वो एक अपने आईपी एड्रेस के साथ आ रही हैं, तो अटेंडेंस मेरे लिए देना मुश्किल हो जाएगा बिकॉज मुझे नहीं पता इनकी कौन है। तो विदाउट वेस्टिंग एनी टाइम, मैम लेट्स स्टार्ट द सेशन। ओवर टू यू सुनीता मैम।
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
सुनीता मैम प्लीज आप सभी को रिमाइंड करा दीजिएगा कि आफ्टर द पीरियड आप सभी अपना फीडबैक जो है सेशन का दे दी ऑन द ऐप।
गुड मॉर्निंग मैम। मैम एक छोटी सी क्वेरी है, बेसिकली हम ये जानना चाहते थे कि फीडबैक फॉर्म हमें हर पीरियड के बाद देना है मैम?
यस हर पीरियड के बाद देना है।
ओके मैम, क्योंकि कल तो हमने लास्ट में एक साथ एक ही फॉर्म फिल किया था, सो आज हम कर देंगे मैम। ठीक है,
क्लैरिफाई किया था कि कल के 4 पीरियड्स का 4 अलग आएगा, आज के भी 4 पीरियड्स का अलग आएगा, सेशन वाइज फीडबैक।
ओके मैम, मुझे कल क्लैरिटी नहीं हो पाई थी, सॉरी, आज कर देंगे। ठीक है मैम,
चलिए कोई बात नहीं, आप कल का भी कर दीजिएगा प्लीज।
ओके
मैम। ये फीडबैक हम पूरा ट्रेनिंग खत्म होने के बाद भर सकते हैं?
सर एक्चुअली वो तो सेशन वाइज फीडबैक है, तो फिर सेशन वाइज फीडबैक फिर आपको याद नहीं रहेगा कि हमने क्या किया था, किसने क्या किया था, तो बेटर है कि अगर हम सेशन के साथ साथ स्टार्ट करते जाएं तो इट विल बी बेटर फॉर यू एंड फॉर अस आल्सो।
मैम हर सेशन के बाद एक भर देते हैं
जी, हर सेशन के बाद आप भर दीजिएगा, तो वो इट विल हार्डली टेक 2 और 3 मिनट्स, ज्यादा बात
नहीं मैम, टाइम की तो बात नहीं है।
हाँ जी सर, हाँ जी फाइन।
एक्चुअली मैम छोटे छोटे हमारे इश्यूज हैं, ऑल्दो नॉट अ बिग प्रॉब्लम। जैसे आज तो हम गए नहीं हैं डिस्पेंसरी, बट डेली हम लोगों को कोविड ड्यूटी पे होते हैं इस समय, तो वहाँ थोड़ा सा इश्यू। जी
देखिए उसके लिए तो कुछ नहीं कर सकती, आप अपने प्रिंसिपल को बोल सकते हैं कि वो आपको जो है इससे एग्जम्प्ट कर दी।
नहीं मैम, वो प्रिंसिपल मैम भी उसको कर पाएंगी। नहीं मैम, मेरा कहने का मीनिंग ये है, वी विल डू एवरीथिंग टुगेदर। हमारे साथ कोई इश्यू नहीं है, हम सब कुछ मैनेज कर रहे हैं, बट फॉर्म्स के बारे में जहाँ तक बात है उसके लिए बात करी थी। हम बड़ा
इवनिंग में कर दीजिए, अर्ली मॉर्निंग कर दीजिए, कभी भी कर दीजिए, इट्स नॉट रिक्वायर्ड अभी करना है। तो आप शाम को भी फ्री हैं, नाइट में, मॉर्निंग में, अर्ली मॉर्निंग में?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल ठीक है।
हाँ जी। Over to you, Sunita ma'am. You can start your session.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and a very warm welcome to all the participants for today's session. I am Sunita Chauhan and I'll be facilitating this session for all of you today. You need to excuse me as I have some problem with my video. It was running this, I guess, technical issue. I'm working on it. So the moment I'm able to open it, I'll open it. So can you see the screen? I'll just share the screen now. Priyanka ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we are able to see the screen.
Okay, that's great. So as Chanchal ma'am has already told all of you that today's session is about e-learning. So before I start the session, I would like to quickly ask a small question to all of you. Next slide, please. My
Ma'am, we're not able to hear you.
am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, but the screen has vanished.
Okay, I'll try sharing it then. Is it visible now?
Yes, it's visible, ma'am.
Okay. So as the first slide you can see, it's about e-learning resources and their teaching uses. And a quick question to all the participants here. What is e-learning and how it is important to our education system? So you can write your responses in the chat box. And at the same time, I would like to request any one of you to unmute yourself and just share your response. What is e-learning and how it is important to our education system?
Hello. Hello.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Please go
Yes,
ahead.
ma'am, you're audible.
Yes, I would like to share the response regarding e-learning. As far as my understanding is concerned, e-learning is learning through electronic media. Examples: laptop, mobiles, internet, using internet. And the importance, though it has been important, but the importance has been enhanced and surfaced during this COVID time pandemic, that we have realized the importance of e-learning. Otherwise, it is like it saves time, it enhances the speed, and we have various resources available. So it is definitely important for the education.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That is wonderful sharing from your part. And you have rightly pointed out that during this pandemic time, we are more into e-learning and we all as teachers are adopting this new system of learning. Anyone, I would like to hear one more response, one of you, and then we'll move on to the next slide. I can see some of the responses in the chat box.
Ji, ma'am.
Ji, ma'am.
Ma'am, are you hearing me? Yes.
Yes,
E-learning
ma'am.
is learning utilizing electronical technologies to access the educational curriculum outside of the traditional classroom. And we and our students are learning new technology and getting their education very happy. This is completely.
Thank you, Ritu ma'am. Thank you so much for your sharing. So we are moving on to the next slide now. So basically, as you all have, posted your replies in the chat box also regarding this, and two of you have shared here. So a learning system based on formalized teaching, but with the help of electronic resources, is known as e-learning. While teaching can be used in or out of the classroom, the use of computers and the internet forms the major component of e-learning. As we all have experienced during these last 6 months of COVID-19, that we are using it inside our classroom as well as outside our classroom too. So e-learning refers to the use of internet technology to deliver and enhance knowledge, skills, and know-how. As we teachers are, already into it, and every day, the best part of e-learning, I would say that it keeps, you in a constant learning phase. You learn new tools every day, and you get to, experience a lot of knowledge coming your way. So it is a new approach to learning where the learners has control over what, when, where. And this is the most important part of e-learning because it is learner centered learning, and the learner has all the advantage in the world to choose the time when he or she wants to study, or they want to access any knowledge out there on the e-learning platform, and they decide the place also. So it kind of bridges the gap between a teacher and a student, and it also bridges the gap between geographical boundaries, as we all have experienced that some of our students are not in Delhi right now, but they are in constant touch with us, and this is possible only with the help of e-learning. E-learning can be an initiated program in corporation, institutions, or at individual level. Focus on learner designing, developing, delivering, accessing learning. This is we all are doing that. Teachers are designing their own lesson plan on internet, and they're posting it into their WhatsApp groups, and with the help of all the technology, they're making it possible for the students. So before moving on to the next slide, I would like to request ma'am, you will see a link in your chat box. We'll be using, as this is a session on e-learning, we'll be using some of the tools here to make you a little comfortable with the different tools that can be used to enhance the daily teaching learning activities. So in your chat box, you will see a link for Mentimeter. Yeah, so there's a link in your chat box. You just have to click on that link quickly and you will be taken to the Mentimeter site. There you will get a box under the question, and you just have to write your response over there. Can any one of you unmute yourself and tell me, is that link visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible and we have done it also. I think.
Okay, so you just start posting your responses over there.
Sunita ma'am, can you stop sharing so that I can start sharing the content?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So I request all the participants to quickly register their responses on the Mentimeter, and you will be surprised to see that your responses will be forming a wonderful word art. So the question on your screen, I guess you all are able to see that. Which e-learning tools do you use? Ma'am, can we see the responses here?
No, I'm not getting any question on the link after opening it.
Ma'am, you can use the code also if you have Mentimeter in your phone or laptop, whichever instrument you're using. But the link that we have given, it directly opens the site. It's in the chat box.
I'm unable to get it.
Maybe some network issues there, ma'am. You can try again.
Okay, ma'am, I'm trying. Not getting anything.
Okay, no issues, ma'am. You can write your response in the chat box. If you're not able to access this Mentimeter, you can write your responses in the chat box. That will also help.
Ma'am, earlier when I clicked the link, I got a different question. I answered and submitted it. But now when I'm again clicking the link, I can see this question, which e-learning tools do you use? But I'm not getting any options for submitting.
Okay, ma'am.
There is the submit option, but there are no other options to choose.
Okay, no issues, ma'am. You can write your response in the chat box.
Okay.
Priyanka, ma'am, meanwhile we can see the responses on the Mentimeter. Okay, wonderful. We can see Google Classroom. Most of you are using Google Classroom. Phone tab, okay. Smartphones. If the same answer is, typed multiple times, the size becomes big. It is enlarged in font size. So I guess most of you are using Google Classroom because it is highlighted. Google Forms, Google Meet. That's wonderful. Okay, that's great. So let's move on to the next slide, ma'am. I can see some of the responses in the chat box also, Google Meet, Google WebEx. And right now, as you all know that we are on the e-learning platform and we are using this Cisco WebEx platform where we are meeting each other and we are learning, and it's a collaborative platform. Thank you so much. I can see a lot of responses on the screen. I hope it's visible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. So these are small tools that can be used to make our learning more interesting and engaging for our students. So this is one tool that I wanted to show you and get your responses to at the same time. So we're moving on to the next slide, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Can we move on to the next slide?
Yes, of course, ma'am.
Just give me a second. I'm sharing the screen now. So as we have already talked about the e-learning platform and how it's transforming the learning and how it's helping out. So e-learning is just not beneficial to the teachers. I would say it is beneficial to the environment also, because e-learning is a boon to environment also, as it is a paperless teaching, and it has contributed to saving trees. I guess you all agree with me on this this particular point, that it is very environment friendly too. So one of the highlights of e-learning that we have been all aware of, it's a learner centered approach, and the learner has full control, as contrary to a traditional classroom where it is more, I would say, a teacher centered approach that we apply in our classrooms, and teacher has all the control over the timing and the place. And these e-learning, they have kind of transcended the geographical boundaries. Now we don't have to, confine to the four boundaries of the classroom or school. Learning can happen at any place and anywhere, and this is one of the benefit of e-learning, that it is very learner centered approach, and it's a very flexible system. You don't have to be, you can learn on the go, because as today's time we can see, we people all have, limited time, and we have thousands of things on my mind to do, and we all are multitasking. So at that point of time, and especially such times that we are like in a lockdown situation or a pandemic situation where we, dread to go out, so at that time also this e-learning is helping us to maintain a continuity and to, take forward the lessons and classes to our students, although our students are not able to physically come to our classrooms, but they are there with us online. Is anyone speaking? Sonia ma'am, you want to say something? Okay. And it's a very latest need on account of pandemic, as we have already talked about. This is the only savior that is, there. Otherwise, it would have been a zero session. But due to this e-learning, we are able to, somehow manage to be in touch with our students, and we are, covering our syllabus. We are in constant touch with our students with these online classes, and at the same time, we are, it is helping us to grow as professionals also, because we are learning new things, we are attending webinars. It's a very global platform. It offers great collaboration and global opportunities to learners as well as teachers, as we can collaborate with any teacher from the other part of the world. It's a very progressive medium of learning. It gives you all the benefit. It is every time there's a new tool coming up, and we learn that, and we try to, incorporate that in our teaching to make it more interesting and engaging for our students. So let's move on to the next slide, please. Okay, we've talked about what is e-learning. Now it is very important to get this thing very clear in our minds, what e-learning is not. So here I would like to give you an example. If say I have, made a video of my class and I uploaded that on the YouTube, do you think it's e-learning? Can you please quickly write your responses in the chat box? If I have uploaded a video of my lesson on the YouTube, will it be considered a e-learning? You can write your responses in the chat box, and I request one of the participants to unmute themselves and just answer this question. Suman ma'am says no, it's not e-learning. Sandeep sir says yes, it is. Okay. So I can see most of you are responding yes, but Ritu ma'am has said it's not. Ritu ma'am, can I ask you to please unmute yourself and tell us why it's not e-learning? Ritu ma'am, can you hear
I
us?
think
Yes,
two
ma'am.
Ritus are here, but my reply is yes.
Okay, your reply is yes. Okay. So whoever has replied it's no, can they just unmute themselves and tell me why it's not e-learning? Yes, Samiksha ma'am wants to say something.
Actually, ma'am, there was network.
Okay, no issues, ma'am. You can write your response in the chat box. So let's move on to this slide and see what is e-learning. Learning connected with electronic media is e-learning, but when it is not happening in the real time, it is not considered e-learning. Adding audio to presentations, recording live sessions, and uploading them to software or internet website, it does not come under e-learning. Because the objective of e-learning is that it requires a live connection with the teacher or the facilitator. That is, we have some certain objectives to meet when we discuss something on online or we present a class. So we have certain objectives, and as we are online connected to each other, the way we are doing it right now, I'm asking you question and you are giving me responses, so I'm able to know that whether my objectives are met or not. But when we upload a video on a YouTube, or say we give a WhatsApp presentation, so it doesn't require the student to attend it at the same time, and we don't get response immediately. They can see that recorded video 3 days after we have uploaded that video, and they may or may not respond to the questions we have asked. So it is more of a static form of learning. So e-learning is basically two types. We will discuss that in the further slides. Before that, we will discuss what are the objectives of e-learning. So the main objective of e-learning here is to help the individual to realize his or her full potential. And how we are able to do that, because as we have already discussed, it is a very learner-centered approach. The student have full control. They can just learn at their own pace. They can Google any resources they want to have, and they can study according to their own pace. There is no hurry that this is just a 40 minutes period and it will get over, and if they miss something they won't be able to go back and recheck it. The online system always provide them this opportunity to go and again read the particular content and master it until they want it. So they have this chance to just realize their full potential. And the other objective of e-learning is it reduces the disparity between individuals or groups, as we all as teachers experience this, that in a large classroom scenario where we have 50 to 60 students, so it becomes practically impossible for a teacher to pay individual attention to all the students in a 40 minutes period. So this disparities is reduced in a online platform where the student and teacher have enough access through chat box or live interaction, and they can get back to the teacher again. They can read the content again. So it reduces that kind of disparity. And the prime objective in current situation, as we have all experienced in the last 6 or 7 months of the pandemic, that it's aiding our teaching learning process and continuing it at the time of distress or conditions like today's time pandemic. And I would say it's just not always pandemic, and like we have certain states where there are extreme temperatures, say Leh and Ladakh, where it's not possible in winter season to physically open the schools. So learning can be aided through such e-learning platforms, and say we have some kind of external threat or we are not able to open the school. So in those conditions also e-learning comes handy, and we can continue with our studies. E-learning is the only medium of learning which is safe and best currently, because as we all know, we cannot physically open the schools. So this is considered the safe and best, and I would say it's an economical platform also, because it doesn't require a full infrastructure. It doesn't require the logistics. We just need a smart device and a good data, and you are ready to do whatever you have all the options with you to explore any learning platform, or you can just continue with your studies. Is there any difference between e-learning and online learning? You can write your responses in the chat box.
I think both are same.
Okay. Anyone else have different opinion, or everyone agrees with what ma'am has said? It's almost same. Some are saying no. Okay. Some are saying same. So if we talk about in terms of technical definitions, both the terms are technically different. But yes, e-learning is a wider term that incorporates online teaching learning. It's an umbrella term. E-learning is an umbrella term that has, online teaching under it. It is most progressive medium of learning today. Any learning that is happening with electronic devices comes under e-learning, and online teaching learning as well is a part of e-learning. So types of e-learning. Now this is a important thing that we all need to learn, that e-learning happens in two different modes. We can say synchronous versus asynchronous, as we were already discussing this YouTube video. So that is a asynchronous mode of e-learning, where it is self-directed and self-paced. I can watch the YouTube video anytime I want, and I can repeatedly watch it unless and until I grasp the particular topic. But synchronous learning is a learning that we are having right now. We have a limited time, and we all are connected through the same connection on the same platform and same time. So whenever we have, like, it's basically instructor facilitated, as we have a traditional classroom where we have an instructor or a facilitator. Same, we have a synchronous way of learning where there's always a facilitator or instructor. And asynchronous is, it's more self-directed and self-paced. Synchronous way of learning requires all the participants to be virtually present at the same time. The same thing that we are doing right now. We are same logged in this particular platform at the same time, and we are discussing and we are responding. Whereas asynchronous does not require all the participants to be virtually present at the same time. The kind of WhatsApp groups we have with our classes, as a teacher, we post something on the WhatsApp group, and we are not sure that every student will be online at that particular time. They may see it the moment we post it. They can check the message after 2 days. They can check it in the evening. So it becomes a asynchronous way of e-learning. Another point of synchronous learning is, it is scheduled and timed online tests, virtual classrooms, web conferencing technology, interactive shared whiteboards. This all comes under synchronous way of e-learning. And if we, as I've already told you, that if we use the chat box or discuss something or we upload a YouTube video, that all comes under asynchronous. And MOOCs that we do, massive online open courses that we do nowadays to enhance our knowledge, that all comes under this asynchronous type of learning. So again, we are using a small tool here, a Mentimeter. So you will see the link in your chat box. And the question is there on your screen also. Which one do you prefer? As we have already discussed the difference between synchronous and asynchronous type of learning. So which mode do you prefer more? Like, you have three options. You can quickly click on the link that is there in your chat box, and you can register your responses over there. And if some of the participants have any problem clicking on that link and opening it, they can write their responses in the chat box also. I've started getting responses in chat box. Some are saying both. Yes. I guess most are of the view that both are needed. Yes, you're very much right. We are, using a combination of both, because as the kind of students we have, it's not practically possible for all of them to, have online access every time. So we use
Sunita ma'am,
most. Yes.
can we share?
Yes, we can share that. If we've got the
So
responses now, we can share that.
yeah, I need permission to share. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
able
do
to.
that. Yeah. Yeah, and we've got some of the responses on our Mentimeter also, as we can see around 15 people responded on this, and most of are going with combination of both. Yes, and this is what we are doing in our classrooms, because we need to make a combination of both. We need both synchronous mode of learning as well as asynchronous mode of learning. Thank you, everyone. You're such a wonderful participants. You were quickly responding to all questions. Thank you. Priyanka ma'am, now we're moving to the next slide. Okay, we have talked about e-learning. We have talked about different ways by which we can, be in connect with our student, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous. So I'll share another tool with you in the chat box. You will see the link to the Padlet. And you have to write your responses. You'll see a question there. As you have already used the Mentimeter, it's the same thing. Just you have to click on the Priyanka ma'am, can you just paste that link in the chat box? Padlet link. Okay, no issues. So you can write your responses in the chat box. The question for you is that what are the advantages of e-learning? So you can just write your responses in the chat box, or any one of you can just unmute yourself and quickly tell us what are the advantages do you think are there for e-learning, Though we have discussed, but I would like you to add something that is left, or you want to add something to it. Can I hear from any of the participant?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you can.
मैम फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इसे एक तो टाइमिंग कंज्यूमिंग टाइम जो होता है वो हमारा सेव हो जाता है सेविंग और वी कैन मोर मोर एग्जांपल्स दे सकते हैं एंड वी वीडियोस वी कैन गिव देम टू एक्सप्लेन आवर व्यूज टू एक्सप्लेन आवर लेसन्स.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Sunita, ma'am. Very valid points you've put forth. And I'm getting so many responses in the chat box also. Yes, ma'am.
The second thing is, some things are which children can learn easily by sharing video or looking rather than just explaining on a blackboard in a classroom.
Yes, you're right, ma'am. It gives you that liberty of, having tools that help student, because we have all type of learners in our classroom. Some likes it like, to hear, some likes to watch. So we have all types of learners in our classroom. Thank you so much for your responses. I can see a lot of responses in the chat box. So we are moving to the next slide as we are going to. So meanwhile, ma'am has shared the link for Padlet also. You can just type your responses there and see how Padlet is used. So I guess you can see my screen. Advantages: classroom, classwork can be scheduled around work and family. This advantage, I will say, it is more for the teachers, that as nowadays in the pandemic situation, we are doing a double duty. We are taking care of the family at the same time. We are, doing our online classes and everything. So we have this, liberty to schedule our work according to the requirements. And of course, it reduces the travel time and travel cost. Again, it is more for the teachers' benefit, as a student in our schools come from a neighborhood area. But yes, some of them come from a far off places. But most of our teachers come from NCRs, and they take 4 to 3 hours every day to travel. So it is reducing that time. Student may select learning material. Yes, it gives them all the liberty to select their learning material. Students can study anywhere, as we have already discussed. Student can work at their own pace. So it is basically more of a student friendly platform, I would say. More interaction among students and instructors, develops knowledge of the internet and computers. Yes, of course, it is developing our knowledge, and we are exploring new every day. It is, I would say, a sea that we all need to dive into and explore what is there for us. So it is a never ending process learning. students take responsibility of their learning, and this is very important in an online platform, because as it is, we have already discussed many times, this is learner centered. So here is the responsibility is more on the student to learn according to his pace. So these are some of the advantages that we have in our mind when we are doing online classes, or we are adopting ourselves to e-learning mode. And you can see on the next slide, these are some of the extra advantages that we see that target multiple intelligence, as ma'am has just already talked about, that some students like it when we show the videos. Suppose in a social science class, we want the students to understand the concept of layerings of earth. It is not practically possible in the classroom scenario to show those 3 layers, but when we show that 3D model or the video, with simulation, the student can clearly see the pictures and layers of the earth, and he or she can grasp it in a better manner. So it really helps when it comes to deal with special children, especially like those who have some hearing impairment, or the student with special needs, like who are visually impaired. So we can give them all kind of benefits. They can have audios, they can have visuals according to their capabilities, and they can watch again and have all the liberty to learn at their own pace. And yes, technological tools are there, increases teacher effectiveness. Yes, because earlier we had a 40 minutes period and we had that chalk and duster thing. Now we can incorporate small videos in our lessons. We can make it we can introduce some quizzes that makes our teaching more interactive, and at the same time we can get a real feedback by testing their knowledge. So these are some of the advantages that we have of e-learning. Now we are going gaga over the advantages of e-learning, but as every coin has 2 sides, it also has some of the disadvantages. So now I want any one of you to unmute yourself and quickly tell me what are the disadvantages. We have talked about more advantages it has, and but it has a disadvantages also. Can you just unmute yourself and tell us what are the disadvantages?
Yes, ma'am. I want to tell
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Yes,
May I?
ma'am.
That impact is living somewhere which we had in our classrooms.
फ्लैट है, बच्चे उतना अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर पाते.
Ma'am, thank you, Aruna ma'am. Yes.
Ma'am, schools are not just for teaching, learning process. We learn to take competition in a healthy way. We make connections. Schools are in a way a smaller part of a society. So when we go out in a larger world, we would learn in school how to behave in a society. So, and then that connection between teacher and student, it is somewhere missing when we are doing these kinds of things, e-learning and such. When we are there, human connection, it is the most important thing, because we learn not only by doing, we learn by looking at each other, our classmates, our colleagues. So this is the biggest disadvantage for me of e-learning.
Co-curricular activities are also lacking somewhere.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for your responses. And you all are very, very right that it is not, no matter how it is helping us during these time, but it cannot take place of our actual classroom. It cannot, just, give that real feeling that we had in our classrooms when we were in, face-to-face contact with our students. And some of you have written it has health issues also, because students are having more and more screen time and it is affecting their eyesight. You're very right. And students who have a slow pace of learning, who needed motivation every time, they are not able to keep a pace with it. They are lagging behind, because in a real classroom scenario, a teacher was always there to motivate them, encourage them. But this is not kind of happening on an online platform, because it is a student. Yes,
ma'am,
ma'am.
a feeling of competition is also lacking in the students.
Yes, that is there.
They have a regular competition in the classroom from one another. That is also lacking.
Yeah, that healthy competition is there. Lack of social connectivity, yes, of course it's there. And you rightly said that a school is a mini society. It does not just talk about education or bookish knowledge. It teaches the students how to live life, how to become socialize, how to collaborate, how to communicate. So these are things, we these kind of disadvantages we face in online teaching. These are certain disadvantages that it creates a digital divide. Yes, that is very true. That although it's a very economical source of learning, but at the same time, the kind of students we have in our schools, we see a large gap of those who have smartphones and those who do not have access to smartphones. And as you know, data is the new oil. So every time we hear from from our students that they are not able to recharge their data. So it is kind of, yes, it is kind of widening that gap of having resources and having no access to such resources. Students may get lost or confused. Yes, it is there because as I have already said, that if we type a particular word on the Google and it gives us 100 of links and we are lost which is good, which one we should go for and which is the authentic. So it confuses them a lot. And as you have already talked about, students feel isolated because they are not in the company of their friends. They are learning from their home. So that is there. Instructor may not be available. Yes, as I've already told you, in a synchronous mode, is there, but when it comes to asynchronous learning, instructor may not be there always to guide you. And yeah, slow internet connection is an issue. Complex computer for beginners, because as we all also struggle as teachers because we don't have the technical base or technical mindset. So at times we also struggle with the technology. So that is there. And difficult to simulate lab work. It's not like possible. We were doing science practicals in our labs, but that is somehow not very flexible options we get online. So these are some of the disadvantages. So we are moving ahead as we are pressed for time also. So some of the e-learning resources here that you can, and I'll be sharing this PPT also. When if you want to take a screenshot, you can do that. These are some of the e-learning resources that we can use to make our classroom more fun, more engaging, and more, to have an enhanced learning experience. E-books are there. Students can access any e-book that they want, as it is not physically possible in a library. You have a limited set of books in your school libraries. So this is one advantage we have. YouTube again is just not for watching videos or movies. It is, we can use it for education purposes very well. We have MOOCs for our own professional growths. We can join any courses anytime according to our time slots. And we have already used this Mentimeter and Padlet. In today's session, we have WhatsApp that we are using. Google Forms there that we are using. Kahoot is another very good platform that is used for quizzes and all. So these are certain e-learning resources that can be used in the classroom to have a teaching experience. And here are some of the things that I have pasted that you can use to get a hands-on for these tools that we have discussed. Certain YouTube links you can watch according to your comfort whenever you feel like. So these are some of the links. Okay, now we have talked about advantages, disadvantages. We have certain challenges when it comes to e-learning. There can be an administrative structure challenge, the way that if we are called to our school duties, that you teachers are all going to schools, even we are visiting schools. So at times we see there is a no network zone in the school. It's very difficult to have a good internet connection, despite the fact that we are having the smartphones, but we don't have a very good connection. And at the same time, we don't have the technical expertise, as we are not computer science teachers. So we all struggle with technology, and we needed support, and infrastructure is required. And as you have all talked about, that it lacks social interaction. Sometimes it's very difficult. You feel like that you're talking to faceless audience, like you cannot see them, you cannot have eye contact with them. threat of technology is there. You have this fear of unknown. You never know who enters, and who posts what, and who can just hack your system, or who can get into your personal details. So threat of technology is always there, and we have legal issues like as teachers, although as I have already told you that we are not very well aware with the technical aspect. We just for the sake of our educational purpose, we just copy and paste from somewhere. We get some resources on the Google, and we show some videos, and they have some legal issues, they have this copyright issues. So these certain challenges are there, and then you rightly said that we cannot evaluate the effectiveness. We cannot say it's 100%. And there are internet safety tips for teachers that we need to keep in mind. So we'll quickly go through them. To have privacy setting, as we know, we all have. We need to have a strong password. Keep your antivirus updated always. Use sensible email addresses. Be careful on what you download, because as I've already told you, there is always a threat of you getting hacked, or getting your personal data exposed. So these are some of the internet safety tips that we need to keep in mind while we are accessing any online platform. So that's all from my side. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being such an active participants. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Sunita
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sunita ma'am. Actually, you
Thank
have
you, ma'am.
exceeded your
Thank you.
time, and you were supposed to finish by 10:10. So it's okay. So without taking any break, Ila ma'am, can we start?
Shall we give them 5 minutes break at least? At 10:25, 10:30 we can start. I wind up it by 11:10.
So it's like if, at 10:25 we'll start.
10:25, okay.
Yeah.
Give them
So
2
after 5 minutes,
2
Ila
minutes.
ma'am will start. Fine.
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
I'm all there.
हेलो मैम, बोलिए, आप कुछ बोलना चाह रहे हैं? मैम ऑडिबल नहीं है मुझे। समीक्षा मैम, आप कुछ बोलना चाह रहे हैं? इला मैम, आपने 2 डिवाइसेस से लॉगिन किया है? इला मैम,
With 2 devices.
you have logged with 2 devices, na?
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, thank you. So should I make you co-host, or should I make Sunita ma'am the co-host?
Anyone, ma'am, like you make Sunita ma'am co-host.
Fine. Okay.
So, participants, shall we start?
Yes, ma'am. Ila ma'am, you can start.
Okay, good morning, everybody. And if you are there, yes, thank you so much. So I know from your responses that you are there, you are back. So today's our topic is vocabulary development, and today we'll discuss about various aspects of vocabulary development. So let's begin. So first of all, what is vocabulary? What do you understand by vocabulary? You can put in the chat box, put in your responses in the chat box. What do you think? What is vocabulary according to you? Okay, so we have got some responses. Yeah. Word meanings, word consciousness. Shruti Agrawal has responded. Word, their meaning. Ritesh is saying their standard uses, slangs. All this makes vocabulary. Words we need to express ourselves. Important for comprehension. Okay. Knowledge of words. Karuna. Good. Okay. So let's see what the researchers say in this and how they define vocabulary. Here is a definition by Newman and Dorr. Vocabulary can be defined as the words we must know to communicate effectively. The objective of vocabulary is to communicate, right? We need words to express ourselves. The words in speaking, this is expressing vocabulary, and words in listening, that is receptive vocabulary. So both of these vocabularies we need. And let's move to the importance of vocabulary. What is the importance of vocabulary? What do you think? As per your perception, what is the importance of vocabulary?
To express ourselves, we need vocabulary.
Right. And read word of words, Sonal is saying. Okay.
Ma'am, it improves our communication.
Yes. So as we can see in this slide, words are the currency of communication. Like we need money to, if you want to buy something. Similarly, the purpose of communication works as a currency, words. And our robust vocabulary improves all areas of communication: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Vocabulary helps children to think and learn about the world. It bolsters their ability to grasp ideas and think more logically. They become better thinkers if they have words. They are more they are able to express more. The greater number of words help the child to interpret ideas from others and express their own ideas. It boosts your child's power of persuasion. Having a rich vocabulary will help your child communicate in a more engaging way. One important finding, this is very important, that research suggests vocabulary learning never stops. So at times we feel like vocabulary learning, there is an age for learning vocabulary, but there is no age, because language development is something which keeps on growing with time and age. So we'll be though three categories of vocabulary are general vocabulary. It consists of words with acknowledged meanings in common uses as we normally use. Specialized vocabulary, which it is made up of words from everyday life. Like general vocabulary, in general meaning, like they have more meanings. For example, cell. Cell is specialized meaning in biology. In like for cell, for me, what is a cell for you? Let's know your viewpoints first. What is a cell for you? What do you instantly comes to your mind when you hear cell?
Batteries.
Yes, batteries.
Then the word cell can be used for prisons as well.
Sorry, I did not get you.
Prisons.
Prison, yes, prison. And
Ma'am,
in
phone.
biology, when we look through microscope, we also see the cells that whatever the object we are looking under the microscope. And then technical vocabulary, like otherwise we are humans, but in technical terms we are called Homo sapiens. So there are categories of vocabularies. We always there is subjective vocabulary, which is like for science there are different words. In science they have we use many words for like as if say for animals they have different names, birds have different names, their scientific names are different. So what should be the pedagogy of developing vocabulary for our children? Like what you use? How do you teach vocabulary? How do you help students develop their vocabulary? Okay, Samriddhi Tomar has written a block in spreadsheet. Cell, you are defining cell. Okay, word wall, crossword, dictionary. Okay. Shruti has responded. What is your pedagogy of teaching vocabulary?
Reading newspaper, ma'am.
Can you speak louder, please?
Reading newspaper, ma'am.
Reading newspaper. Okay. Anyone else? Can I get more responses?
Ma'am, when we use new words at the same time, we tell our students the meaning in Hindi as well.
Okay, word meanings you are saying. Okay, bilingual approach. Ritesh is saying vocabulary can be developed by making the root words known to the students. Like if students know that adding side to a word makes it meaning to kill. Okay, giving students synonyms and antonyms of a word from the book we are reading. Yes, Supriya, it's a good idea that it enriches the vocabulary when the students know the synonyms and antonyms. Reading and learning meanings in context of that sentence. Samriddhi is saying, and Tanvi very rightly said prefix and suffixes because they enrich the vocabulary, and the same is there. So I won't discuss it much because you are very much aware of it. Synonyms that we should provide another meaning for the word to the students, and then antonyms as you have said. Not all words have antonyms, but at least we can give them some idea of an antonym which is nearest in the opposite sense. Then paraphrasing. So someone shared in this chat box, like Samriddhi was saying cell is a block in spreadsheet. So here she is defining what a cell is. See, and when we say battery or when we say prison, it is synonym. It can be a synonym of cell. So we can paraphrase definitions and we can motivate students to express every word in their own words so that they get the better understanding, because that's the only way to know how how able students are in getting the meaning. Then we can provide them examples. The more personalized, the better. Provide non-examples is a very important aspect. We always provide examples, but we don't provide non-examples. We will discuss it in the later slides. What is a non-example of a word? So, okay, let's do it here only. What could be the non-example of cell? Non-example of cell. We discussed about the examples of cell, like it can be a battery, it can be a prison, it can be a cell on spreadsheet, it can be slide which we see in the microscope. So what could be the non-example of cell? You can unmute yourself or write in the chat. What do you think can be a non-example of cell? What is a non-example? Let's understand this. Nucleus, okay. Is can't get the question, okay, Ritesh. Because it is very important to understand what a non-example is. It's not Shruti, thank you. But let's understand what a non-example actually is. Example we very well understand. Example is something which has the attributes of that particular word, how we perceive the meaning. Suppose for me, a cell is a battery. Like Shruti, for Shruti, cell is a part of us, yes, ma'am, sale can be non-example of cell. Okay. So any word which is not cell, which does not have the attributes of a cell, is a non-example. It can be a notebook. It can be a pen. It's as simple as that. It's simply critically thinking about what is not a cell. It can be any word which does not have the attributes. We cannot be very, particular. It's not antonym. We are not asking about the antonym. We are asking the non-example. Okay. So ask for the sentences that show you know. We can tell them to create new using the new word and using that word in their own sentence. So that will also make it clear whether the student has understood comprehended the meaning or not. So teach word sorting. Word sorting is like as if we tell the students to put the words and sort them into categories like what is a noun, what is a pronoun, what is a verb, what is an adjective, an adverb. So they should know the different words. They can categorize them in different areas. So that is also that also helps them understand what actually the vocabulary they are getting. So what are the tools we can use in the classroom? Let us discuss about some vocabulary development tools. And the first one is the Freir's model that I was we were discussing about non-examples. So here you will get, this is a Freir's model. The upper picture where you see, this is the actually template. And in this template, we put the words according to the given criteria. Like word, first we have to define, then characteristics, examples, and non-examples. So here is an example: reptiles. What is a reptile? So here is the definition of that word: a cold-blooded, air-breathing animal that has scales instead of hair and feathers. There are around 6,000 species. So then, what are the characteristics of reptiles? Dry, scaly skin, reproduce by laying eggs, cold-blooded, air-breathing, backbone, and like there are examples. So what can be a reptile? What is a reptile actually? So turtles, crocodiles, alligators, lizards, snakes, and I can't spell this. Non-example is what can be a non-example? So amphibians, mammals, fish, birds, right? So any thing which is not an example is a non-example. That this way, if we tell our students to describe the words, they will never forget it. I did one example of this when I was teaching in my class about verbs. So I asked my students what is the definition of verb, what are the characteristics of verbs, what are the examples of verbs. And there is one more category that we use is drawing the picture of that word. Like as if we are using reptiles here, so we can draw a picture of any reptile where we are writing examples. So similarly, I tell them to draw the images of action words and then non-examples. When it came to non-examples, all the students get confused. So what is a non-example of verb? So it is very simple. What is not a verb is a non-example. So every noun, adjective, pronoun is a non-example of verb. So another model is vocabulary graphic organizer. We can ask our students to create a graphic organizer like this, where what the word is, definition, synonym of that word, antonyms of that word, which part of speech that word is, the picture of that verb and word, and my sentence, creating a sentence of your own. So this also, students take a lot of interest in defining it this way. And then there is another, it's a kind of game, we can call it roll the dice and explore new words. So we can create a list of words and give them to students and tell them to roll the dice. In the classroom, it is very interesting activity when students when they roll the dice, they enjoy it a lot, and whatever number comes, they have to accordingly answer. Like if they get number 4 in the dice, they have to draw the picture of that word. Suppose the word is cat, so students will describe it as per the as it appears in the dice. But for this, teacher have to put a little effort, and they need to keep a bunch of words from that chapter, and that way they can use it. And there are this is the activity for junior classes, for 6 to 8. We can use this, that roll and color a sight word. Sight words are the words which are commonly students commonly see them. So these are the words which very frequently appear in, or whenever we are reading, we are seeing these words. So these are the sight words. When they roll the dice, whatever number appears, accordingly they have to color that word. Then there are some vocabulary development board games. Board games are like, are you aware of board games for vocabulary development? Can you name some board games which you have played in your childhood?
मैम हमारे चाइल्डहुड टाइम पे हमारी एक मैम थी 6th क्लास में, वो हमें करवाते थे कि एक वर्ड देते वो कोई भी, जैसे ए से ही स्टार्ट किया, उसी पे वो हमसे खाने की चीज, किसी सिटी का नाम, और किसी एक कोई भी गाना, तो वो मैं भी अपनी क्लास में प्राइमरी टाइम में करवाती थी.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Actually, you still remember, we are, as a teacher, we follow our teachers to some extent. When we come to our class, somewhere our teacher is there who has impacted us, right? So Shruti has shared Scrabble. Yes, Scrabble we have played a lot. Do you remember any other board game other than Scrabble? Any other game? Okay, let's see what are the board games available these days, because there was a limitation in our times. So now the students have more opportunities and more resources. So here is a game. There are some instructions written. It is actually, I could not, I try to zoom it. Let me see if it is visible. Because as I zoom it more, it blurs out. So there are some instructions given in every cell, and every box, and when the dice is moved, they have to, just like a Ludo, that snakes and ladders. It's a kind of snakes and ladders game, and these can be downloaded very easily, available on Pinterest, or you can Google it. You'll get many of such boards which you can just get the print and paste it on a cardboard, give it to your students, and during your period you can tell them to, they can play themselves and they will be learning with from each other. So there is one such game is animals, which is which I use for junior classes. So like I roll the dice, I get 3. So I'll start and move to the third place. I go back 2 spaces. I go back 2 spaces where it is written name 3 animals that can jump. So I have to tell the animals that can jump. So can you tell such names, name of animals which can jump?
Kangaroo.
Right. Rabbit.
Frog.
Frog. Right. So here the vocabulary is enriched about the animals. So such board games are available about birds, and many other categories now are available for the junior classes. And then here is something which is describing animals. There are some, let me zoom it. So can you see this describing animals, size, shape, color, and speed? And there are some columns and animal pictures are there. Students will describe them. So what they will learn? They will be learning about adjectives. So there are many such games which help them. One such board is here. That is name 3 things. And how we play, then again we will be rolling the dice. 3 things that make you happy, that make you sad. So you would like to have but can't afford. You would never buy even if you had the money. You can't buy with money, you buy with your pocket money. So there are many such options given in this, which can be helpful for the students to, they will be critically thinking. They will be thinking at least that what makes them happy. So what are the things that make them happy? 3 things that make them happy. So there will be cognitive process involved in this, these kind of games, and it also enhances enriches the vocabulary, because maybe some students share that I like jogging, I like swimming, swimming makes me happy, jogging makes me happy, or playing makes me happy. Maybe jogging is a new word for one student. So that way they learn from each other. It's a kind of collaborative learning, we can call it. And then one game is which we are going to play right now. And for that, I request all of you to keep a paper handy. And you have to create a sheet like this, but you have to place the words in different places. Like what are you seeing in this slide? There are 15 words, and you have to put all these 15 words on your paper, but the place should be definitely Samriddhi, I'm going to share. Okay, so these words, but put them in different places, not in the places I have written. In the classroom, we generally dictate the words and tell them to write it in different boxes. This is called word bingo. Word bingo is BINGO, and as soon as shall I tell the rules of the game? Have you noted down the words? If you've noted down the words, please put yes in the chat so that I can start the instructions and after that the game. Randeep has shared. She has written the words. Okay. And please confirm that your words should not be in the order I have written here. The order of your words should be different. Okay, I got 4 yes. So the instructions, shall I share the instructions now? Let's take 1 more minute so that everybody writes the word. Okay, so I'm starting the instructions. Kindly listen carefully so that you do not have to repeat and ask again what are the instructions, right? So first thing is we have to cross all the 5 words. We will not cross, we will put a tick, right? So if suppose all the 5 words in one line, because bingo has 5 words, that's why we keep 5 rows in this, 5 columns in this. So as soon as your one row is completely ticked out and your your words are, suppose in this picture, harvest, entire, plague, locust and salary, and you have picked all these words, so you will have to loudly say bingo. You can unmute yourself and say bingo. So first line will be done, right? Similarly, the second line, as we play the number game, that bingo, it goes like that only. If all the 5 words in the second line are ticked out, you have to loudly say bingo. Okay, and similarly, it goes about the third line. But the surprise element is that I won't be dictating these words. You have to judge these words by some clues. I am sharing some clues. I will be describing, I will be sharing antonyms, I will be sharing synonyms, or I will be giving you a clue about the word, and you just have to find that word and put a tick on it. Okay. So shall we start? Be a careful listener, otherwise you will miss out. Okay. So a disease, it's a disease. You have to find out the word which is the name of a disease, and you have to put a tick on that if you find it out. And let me tell you, these are the words I have taken from your class first flight, the class 10th literature book, and it is from the first chapter, A Letter to God. So I've created this specifically from that chapter. So you can directly use this with your students also. Okay. It's a crop eating insect. It is a crop eating insect. You have to find out a word which is a crop eating insect. Tick out the antonym of fear. Synonym of rogue. R-O-G-U-E, rogue. Synonym of rogue. It is a word which has a suffix. Find out and tick the word which has a suffix. Synonym of pay. Saying no to something. This is the word which means saying no. This word describes a person in authority. A person in authority. Don't write in the chat box. Everybody will know. This is a game. You have to cross the words and shout aloud bingo when one of your line is complete. Sonal, Suman, Sunita, Soni, I request all of you, please pick the word in your sheet. Don't write it here. The moment all the 5 words in one row are ticked, you have to shout aloud bingo. Frozen rain. Frozen rain. Can you be quiet? So, frozen rain. It is frozen rain. I think one of you, oh, bingo, you have to, Shweta, shout aloud. Unmute yourself.
बिंगो मैम
ऐसे bingo. Shout aloud, bingo.
बिंगो
That's great. So, because one of the participant is, achieved that, I'm stopping this activity here because we have to discuss a lot of things and we are running short of time. We have only, 10 minutes left. So I want to wind it up fast. This is the activity which you can prepare from your text, your chapters. Like this is prepared from a letter to God. You can prepare with every chapter or whenever you have time, or you can tell your students to create a bingo for you. But the effort of teacher is in creating the difficulty level. Like I have done, I tell you some synonyms of these words. I tell you some antonyms, suffix words, prefix words, the meanings. So that way, it should be, at least the child should give some time to think and understand in comprehending the meaning. So they will be very, attentive when they know that teacher will anytime put us in this game. Here, there, learning also, the teacher is able to understand that my student has learned. To some extent, that will be clear to the teacher also. Okay, now let's come to some online games, because most of us are taking online classes these days. So this is very important that we learn about some online activities which can be, done with the students. So one of them is, I have given a list. The one is word wall net, and this is one of the amazing tool which you can use. Let me show you. Give me a minute. Okay. So here it is. This is word wall. I have given the link also so that you can get the games here. These are the online games like name that emotion. So there are a lot of expressing, describing words, expressive words. Some are like true, false, and this crossword, which we generally, do you remember in newspaper we used to play in the childhood, this crossword? Every week we used to wait for the Sunday, because every Sunday this kind of crossword used to, will be there in the newspaper. So there are whack a cuphead game in which let me try if I can show you this. Okay, so find my singing monsters, my singing monster. Many games are there which students would love to play, and you can create these games for your children. So they can, let me show you. Let me log in. Okay, so these are the community games. Let me go to the home. Yes, it was there. Yeah. So I have created this for you. So there are this kind of wheels you can create. Whatever word you tell them, whatever we have to rotate this wheel, spin it, and whatever appears, we have to follow the instruction. Okay.
Neela ma'am,
So yes.
sorry for interrupting, but some of the participants are not able to see your screen.
Okay, let me see. Give me a minute. Okay. Okay, now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible now. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Thanks for letting me know. I request participants to please unmute yourself whenever this kind of problem happens, this kind of glitch happens, so that we not waste our time, right? Okay. At times when I am looking at my laptop screen, I am not able to see the chat. So thank you, Sunita, for letting me know this. Okay. So this is a kind of wheel which you can create. I have created this wheel, and when we spin it, it stops at some place like use in a sentence. So you have to use in a sentence. I'm giving you a word from that salary. You have to use this word in a sentence. Any one of you.
The salary has been credited in my account.
Good. Okay. So we again do this. We again spin it, and this time Let's see where it stops. So you have to draw salary. Oh, so you have to draw on your paper. Do you have a paper? You can just open your video and show me a drawing of salary. Sunita, can you do this for me? Can you check the videos? Who is opening the video?
Yes, Sheila ma'am, I'll do that.
Okay, thank you. So I guess some of you have drawn it by now. So that way you can, put the students in different, explore which word you want your students to learn. You can use those words with this activity and students will be able to, learn about it. They will be acting it, defining it, spelling it, synonym, antonym, and drawing it. There are so many options on this word wall, like word search. Because I have created this, I used only these words to save my time. But you can create your own word search. You have to log in and students can access it without logging in. So if you have created an activity, you can just share the link with your students and they will be able to, access it any point of time. It's not necessary that you have to be live for them to use it. If I share the link, you can use it even when the class is over, right? So the same words we'll be searching here. So as I click on it, spell it, and can you let me find out other words? And these are the same words which we had in the wheel. Okay, so define it. That way you will find all the words in this crossword. You can create using
Synonym.
Sorry?
And synonym in the first row, seventh letter. Synonym, seventh letter, first row, synonym. S.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so this was Sonal, I guess. Right? So that way you can do. Then again, there is anagram. Anagram is kind of, so these are jumbled word, and these are the same words which we had in the wheel. I'm reminding you again. In the wheel, the words which we put in will automatically come into the other categories. So these are the same words. We have this kind of categories in this: random cards, word search, matching pairs is there. I'll show you that also. So right now we are exploring anagram. So you have to tell which word is this. And what we have to do, we just have to pick the word and put it in the right place. And gives you point also, right? So it was define it. If we solve, let's solve this one also. Let me just show you. Use in, because so students will be very clear about the correct spellings. When we give them this kind of game, they will be aware about the spellings, what because they don't want to be get wrong, and they are getting points also. On the right side you will be seeing that there is 42 is written there. So that's the number I got. How much time I'm taking in solving the giving the correct spelling, accordingly I'm getting the points. So students can do this without and The best part is they can, if they have a mobile, available at 8 o'clock in the night, they can use it at 8 o'clock. If some of the students are available at 4 o'clock, they can use it at 4 o'clock. So that's the best part of this activity. And let me show you one more, that is matching pairs. So whatever words you will put in the random wheel, they will automatically get into the activities. So here it goes. You can change the look by, there are some ideas of, like you can choose any theme, and according to the theme, you can create the matching pairs activity. So here, let me click it. Draw it is there. So I just guess it does not match. Define it. Define it. So it matches. I found a pair. Same way, we have to click all the words, and this way we can give them activities with antonyms. We can give them activities of synonyms, because I have selected different words for different purpose. So I'm not able to show you the exact activity. Here we can put the antonyms and synonyms, and we can tell the students to match them. So it will also enhance and enrich their vocabulary, and in the online way, you have this wonderful feature of word wall. Okay, let me show you another one is this word wall, education word. This is the site where many of the games are available, like vocabulary toss, hot seat. Just okay. Oops, this is about word recognition, vocabulary, and spelling practice. Erasing relay. Mind reader. So mystery word, they will be searching about the words and with clues. Hot seat and vocabulary toss. So these are small such games which are available for the students, and online they can play. Then there is a site Simbalu where lot of games, like more than 100 games are there on this site, which you can explore for your students, and all are ESL related activities. So free word games, vocabulary games, building language for literature, games for kids, ESL word, English as second language, spin and spell, spelling games. So lot of games are there which students can play. I would have shown you some of them if I had time. We have to wind up. I am quickly, telling you about these. I'll be share the PPT which has all the links about these websites, which you can explore later at your comfortable times. So fast vocabulary. This is about food. There are so many such games are there which you can use with your students. And this one is my favorite, Turtle Diary. Vocabulary crossword is there, word scramble is there, are you a wordsmith is there. So lot of games for the students who are in our class, senior classes like 9th and 10th. We can use vocabulary crossword and word scramble kind of games. And then last but not the least, this is my favorite British Council site where we have lot of vocabulary exercises. I am showing you this one. Here some words are given and some pictures related to them, which we have to put in the like
गजाला जल्दी
as
से
per
जल्दी
the
से कॉल करो.
hello. Are you saying something to me? So if it's touch, we just have to put in here. So we pick the words from here and put them in the related boxes. So let's move forward and Let me show you the. Can you see the PPT? No, it's not there. Okay. So this is the list of all the links which you can find, where you can find online games. And after that, let's talk about some resources. Here is a list of resources. My favorite site is Pinterest. You get a lot of worksheets and ideas here. Let me just show you this one if I have time. Okay, doesn't work. Okay, it's not working. It's already 11:15. We are getting late. So I just close the session here, and you will be able to click on these links, or otherwise just copy paste in the Chrome, and you will get to the site where you can find all the resources. There is some readings which are available about vocabulary development. So thank you, teachers. I really appreciate for your efforts in this tough times. You are challenging times. You are working on COVID duties. Some of you shared yesterday, and along with that, you are managing to attend these trainings. So hats off to you. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate, because as a teacher, what we write on the blackboard of life can never be erased. So as a responsible teacher, you are here with us. Congratulations and thanks a lot. I close this. I'll share the PPT with you in the Telegram group.
Okay, thank you, Ila ma'am. It was such a wonderful session. Really, it is quite impressive, and even I learn a lot from you. Thank you very much.
Thanks
And
a lot.
participants, I hope you all are giving session-wise feedback on the app, SCERT app. And now it is 11:15, and we'll meet you sharp at 11:30. तो 11:30 बजे हम दोबारा से मिलेंगे. It's a short break, and try to come back by 11:30 itself. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.